Oh, and my guest today is Andy Gutman. He's the author of a children's book, Business Raccoon. Andy, thanks for stopping by. And I really want to learn, who is the Business Raccoon? Who is Business Raccoon?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. What an honor it is. Um, who is the business raccoon? That's a great question. And, I can tell you the heritage of it. The business raccoon actually goes many years back when my daughter was a small child. And I would always try to sing her to sleep at night, which is terrible for her because I have a horrible singing voice and shouldn't do it. But I think she fell asleep just to stop me from singing anymore. But we had this raccoon that used to run across our lawn, and of course I'm a businessman by day, so I would sing her songs and making up a big history about this raccoon on our lawn and how he was just more than just a guy standing out by the garbage. He was he was this great businessman and had all these wonderful aspects to his life. So years later, when I was looking for a good book to put out, this is my 11th book, and I turned back to some of my earlier writings, and the Business Raccoon was born.
Well, if we have time, we're going to go to some of these other books. Because,
Thank
oh
you.
my goodness, especially a children's book, it's hard for 30 minutes to discuss a children's book, but who knows? How do you simplify your job as a businessman into a children's concept?
Yeah, so I was looking to be somewhat lighthearted in this one. I really think, kids today grow up too quickly, and they're forced to deal with real issues all day long. And um, I wanted this to be a little more lighthearted, but it really brings into effect the idea behind, um, a raccoon who's got the personality to do anything. He does people's taxes. He takes college level classes. He's out on the dance floor every night. He's got a great personality to him. But to me, the whole idea was to give kids an early start in a fun way to the business world, because we don't get them involved in thinking business is cool early enough.
Right. As it's interesting you talk about. I like this jack of all trades, master of none, but it's better than a master of one. Did you
Right.
think about that when creating this business raccoon?
I thought about that. I wanted him to have all sorts of aspects to him. So there's something in there for everyone. If you're like, I don't really want to read about taxes, you can read about him getting on the dance floor, driving his Mercedes, or whatever you want. He's got something for everyone. He's truly um, beloved by all.
But that quote really gets people thinking, if you have lots of knowledge in multiple areas, you're not very good, but they didn't understand the quote completely, you know. And
Right.
I'm
That's
sure
so
in
true.
your career in business, I'm sure you weren't just just a niche in one area. You had to have expertise and development. That's where I think a lot of people have. But I'm interested in this raccoon because I guess you want kids to say it's okay to be a business person, right?
Absolutely. That's the whole idea behind it. I mean, it started as a cute way to get my daughter to go to sleep. And when I finally put it to paper, it evolved into something that really teaches kids that the work world is okay. It's good to dream. Kids as children, they dream about being a police officer or a firefighter or something like that. But I don't think at age 5 they've started thinking about the business world. And I got to tell you, there's so many wonderful aspects, and I love it. And you made the point about being a jack of all trades. When I started out, I started out as an accountant in the business world. And over time, I've realized the more aspects of my life that I share, the more that I show them all sides of who I am, the creative, the other things. It has helped me in business, not being like a single aspect person.
And see, that's that. And I'm glad you brought that up. So you started in accounting, and tell us about your business career.
So I started, like a lot of people, many years ago, you didn't ask to become a part of a real estate company. It's something you fell into while you were trying to figure out your life. And so I graduated from a wonderful university called Michigan State University, and with a degree in accounting. And when I got out, I was supposed to go to work for this very small CPA shop. And unfortunately, this was at a time when we had a wonderful recession going on. So about 5 days before I graduated, the CPA firm went belly up. They They folded up their shop,
Wow.
and I went looking for my career. And so I was working three odd jobs, waiting for my permanent career. A job opened up at a local family-owned commercial real estate company to be an accountant there, and it was not where I wanted to be. So I fell into that, but I fell in love with real estate. I didn't love being an accountant. I found out after the first couple of years, I'm like, it's a good background to do anything you want. If you understand the numbers, you understand a lot of things. But I moved on from that company to an international company where I worked for a year and found I loved the family-owned aspect. And I got very fortunate. The CEO of the company I've worked for now for 31 years is called Farbman Group, and his name was Bert Farbman. He was just a legend in commercial real estate, and he had a love of the city of Detroit and bringing it back to life. And he wowed me in my interview. And from that day forward, I just pledged my allegiance. I will be part of this company forever. And so I went from being an accountant to a financial analyst, to a senior financial analyst, to VP of finance, to the CFO, and now I sit in the president's seat of the company.
Wow. Okay. And so, but see, you had to build a lot of different skills, didn't you? to
Absolutely.
to be a vice president, you can't acknowledge in one thing. And that, so this is, I'm glad you're bringing this up because the thing is owning my own agency, digital agency, and not just niching in one area because I have a brand now and I can serve other people and do fractional CMO work for companies and
Right.
individuals. I learned that, you know what? It's good to have all this knowledge. It's not bad to continue to learn new things. You don't niche in one area because a lot of people that niched in one area, they've gone belly up in careers.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you knew that quote. That's great. But I love that the raccoon, business raccoon, follows my belief system. That's good. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, it's interesting because you talked about reading to your daughter, right?
Yeah.
That what is the process like for creating both a book and a song? Because you would sing to her and read to
Yes.
her. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. Almost all my books start with a song.
really.
And
Okay.
yeah, and it's the creative process of writing the song and, um, then getting it recorded and, ready to go. And then from there, it becomes a book. I work with my artist to help me put it together. But everything starts with a song, and that's another aspect of what I do is I can't sing and I can't play a musical instrument, or at least I shouldn't do either of those. But I'm able to write the lyrics and then pick out what I want it to sound like and work with people. And I've got to tell you, just the collaboration makes it come to life. And it really is a wonderful process, starting with the song and trying to make sure it's catchy, people like it.
I love it. Yeah. Or can you share a song with us?
Well, there is a song for Business Raccoon that goes right with it. It started with that song that I sang to my daughter horribly, but it's available on
No, but you
Spotify.
won't sing it to us.
No, I, I, I made my daughter a promise after sang to her when she was a baby. I would never torture anyone else with that.
Oh, I wanted you to be like the Wiggles. The Wiggles have sung on
Yeah,
my show, but I don't think that the Wiggles definitely better singers. But that's why you stuck
yeah,
to business for sure.
absolutely.
How does this book fit into the themes of your other children's books, such as love, trust, kindness, and imagination?
Yeah, it follows that. To me, the Business Raccoon is about perseverance, trying to make sure that you never give up on what you want to do in life and achieving all of your goals. And that's what he does. He follows his goals to be a great businessman, but also to have wonderful friends and family and great relationships. And that's the lesson of Business Raccoon. He teaches you don't ever give up on what you want to do. You could be anything you want.
And that's the important thing. Do something you enjoy and
Yeah,
what you love. And I think this is the opportunity for kids everywhere that they can do something they love and do versus other times in life.
you
Going
hit
just the,
that.
the basic, education route, it's great to have a degree, but ultimately you want to be able to do something you love because that's going to keep you working forever because you're never going to stop. You're going to have that drive, that effort that you did once you found the company you wanted to work for. You moved up the ladder because you truly love this company.
Absolutely. You hit that right on the head, and I wish more people would know that about life. If you do something you love, you're never working a day in your life. But I know
Never.
a lot of people who they work the 9 to 5 only so they can have a better life after work. And that's a terrible tragedy because if you love what you do, it all blends together, you know. I love that.
Yeah, no, that's that, and that's people have said that before, and it's absolutely the truth. And you look at it, are you happy? Like, do you love what you do every day? There are people that are very, very well off, but they hate what they do every day, and then
Yeah.
they are in depression. They're in different things. But if you do something you truly love, it's just you can keep going. And longevity is another important thing in business. You got to keep staying the course. It's not this quick fix and gone, and then say, okay, I'm going to retire. No, I can tell that once you do retire, Andy, you're not going to stop writing books.
No, I can't even picture retirement. To me,
Really?
I
Okay,
love
that's
I love all the things I do, and to be honest with you, I don't know what I would do. A lot of people retire so they can play golf or go on trips,
right.
and I don't like golf. I'm terrible at it, mostly because you have to actually work at golf to be good at it. But to me, retirement seems like a far-fetched idea.
Well, we're starting to see a lot of people now looking in that direction, and that's great. We're
Yeah,
seeing C-suite people in their 80s, and I think that's fantastic because if you're doing something you love and you stop doing that, it's very hard to stay productive throughout the day, except if you write books all the time. But I
yeah.
guess, yeah. So if you find that thing that you love, so how does this book fit? As we talked about that, I'm sorry. How does your personal life inspire your books? We've kind of seen this in specific ways about businessman, and you're a businessman yourself. What about other books? Because I really want to talk about other books as long as when we finish up Business Raccoon.
Yeah, a lot of the books that I have really teach lessons in life that I've learned over time, and some of them embrace my life in particular. One of the books I'm most proud of, I wrote a book called Even, which really came from, I'm a working father, and in some aspects, my work makes me work late hours and early mornings, and I think it's a challenge a lot of fathers have is, you're trying to be the breadwinner for the family, but you'd love to spend so much time with your kids, and so I wrote a book called Even that was really about, even though I'm not always able to spend every minute with you, yeah, I love you, my child, you're at the top of my mind. And that was written for my daughter. So she'd always know that, even though I might not see you when you wake up in the morning, I love you, I'll always be there for you. And that was one of the most touching books I wrote, because I wrote that specifically to my daughter and for her when she was young enough to get the concept that, dad works a lot of hours.
Right. And that's nothing wrong with that as long as you spend quality time. We kind
Absolutely.
of have this adverse thought process of work and work, but sometimes jobs to be able to move up the ladder, you work a lot of hours. And I think you educated your daughter in reading to her about Business Raccoon and stuff to expect that. But I think that's important in some of your other books that you're giving that education. Not everyone gets home at 3 o'clock, right? See, I have a story, and I guess I'm going to bring it up. And my ex-wife would say, "Look at all these people; they're home at 3 or 4 o'clock." I said, "That's just not me,
Right.
and this is not my job. My job doesn't my business, my company doesn't end at 4 o'clock, and we do take calls on Saturdays and Sundays. It happens. You can't stop that." While other people, maybe they were lucky to get a job that just basically they can be home at 3 or 4, but are they truly fulfilled in that
Right.
time that they're working there? Because
Absolutely.
hard work pays off, and I'm sure that's part of the inspiration as well in your books.
It is. And I think, you've hit on so many good points here today. You do what you love because it gives you that invigoration. It makes you, it gives you energy. And you do it well because of that, because you're inspired and then you become inspiring. And I love that. I think, in my life, I'm the same way. I spend a lot of quality time with my daughter. We go see movies. We talk twice a day, and it's wonderful. Now she's all grown up, and heading into the business world herself. But
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
What is she
yeah.
studying? What is she going to be doing?
So she's doing graphic design and she's a wonderful artist. And I love that about her. Her specialty is logos. And so she's trying to find this opportunity to inspire people with her work. I love that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Does she help you with any of your logos for
Uh,
you?
yeah, she's done some work for me on my logos. She actually interned with our company a few years back. And we held a contest for interns where they had to change up something with the company that was inspiring. And she brought in new ideas and fresh ideas in marketing that, at the end of the summer, hers were the best of all the interns, and she won an award for that. And I was
Oh.
so proud of her.
And it sounds like definitely. So, how can kids learn from Business Raccoon?
I think kids will learn something about loving life. They'll learn just by it'll get into their heads because the music is so catchy and fun. But I think they're going to learn from all that Business Raccoon does. The various aspects of his job, his time with his friends and family, and that he is constantly trying to make the world a better place.
Right, because that's key. Make the world a better place, and that's what you can do in your work. We spend
Absolutely.
so many hours in our work every day. How can we make our lives a better place and bring joy to people that we meet every day? I think that's so important. And how do your illustrations elevate the story? I already see the background. I love seeing the back cover, or that
Yeah,
was one of your pictures.
absolutely.
But the illustrations are fantastic, and kids really must enjoy them.
They do. And, I have a wonderful illustrator that works for me. And when I first started writing books, I said, I'm not going to do it unless I can make a real change in the way kids' books are written and the look and feel of them. It's got to be something that has a wow factor.
Right.
And the illustrations here pop and they're colorful and I think they're cheery and inviting.
I definitely do too. So let's talk about all your other books you've written, all children's
Yeah.
books. So my first question: why all children's books? Haven't you written a biography yet, or about your life, and to kind of really educate people that are in business, especially C-suite, how they can move up the ladder and enjoy what they do and see those possibilities?
Yeah. I started off doing the children's books. I'll start with that, and then I will talk to you about my autobiography as well. But um, I had a coworker here at the company I work for who he was my neighbor at the office, right next door to my office. And he was, when I was working with him, he started off when he was 5 years from retirement. He's like, I'm going to do all these great things when I retire, and I'm gonna spend time with my grandkids and tour the world. And he got down to 4 years and 3 years and 2 years, and then at 2 years before he retired, he went home from work one day and instantly passed away from a heart attack. And it shocked me and horrified me because he never got to do all the things in life he wanted to do. And so for me, it set me on a path of saying, I've always written, I've got 1,000 stories, poems, songs that I've written, and I've never done anything with that. And what am I waiting for? Am I waiting for my retirement? That's stupid because you can't predict the future. And so I wanted to leave a legacy for my daughter, and it inspired me to start working on it. And I think over the years, my books have gotten better with each new one, and I've learned a little bit more about writing books and how to do it well for kids. But it started as an inspiration for my daughter. And then I started going to nonprofits and schools and reading to kids. And it was one child at a nonprofit that came up to me afterwards and said, yours is my favorite book of all the books I read, and I want to be an author one day. And then within a couple of months of her saying that to me, I got with the nonprofit and I said, I would like to write a book with however many of your children at this nonprofit and make them authors at this early age. They were between 5 and 12. And so I wrote a book called Life Lessons from Brilliant Detroit, a wonderful nonprofit in the city of Detroit, now expanding across the country. And it puts homes, buys homes, and then it gives families in tough neighborhoods a place to go, learn how to do things. And so we wrote a book together. And my goal has ever since then been inspire authors, inspire young kids to change the world. Everyone worries about the next generation, and to me, I'm so thrilled with, the kids today and how well they learn and how much magic they have within them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's unreal in so many ways. The magic and all that. So getting kids to be able to write a book that early in the that's fantastic. And of so your biography. So you did write a
Yeah.
biography. Yeah.
So I've written it and rewritten it many times, and I just haven't found my voice as a writer about myself and about lessons I can teach. And so every time I put it back on the shelf and say I can do better because I want it to be
Yeah.
inspirational. I want it to, be something that's so incredible, but it's different. Writing a kid's book, it's 20 pages, 25 pages, maybe. Writing an adult book, a biography needs to be 100, maybe 150 pages. And I'm looking for that magic. It'll come out one day when I feel I've got something so special that people will want to read it.
I think you have something special now. And if you gave us the advice not to wait, I
You're
shouldn't
right.
wait. I shouldn't wait on that. Are you
You're
writing in
right.
some more children's books?
Yes, I've got, just like my favorite artist in the world is Prince, and Prince was the kind of writer who had, he still to this day after his passing has thousands of songs he hasn't released, thousands, and I've got dozens of books I haven't released, and it's tough in the world because you don't want to oversaturate. The industry tells you you can't write more than one book a year, and so I probably have gotten a little better at writing more books than just one a year, but I'm trying not to oversaturate it, and I want it to be special when it comes out.
I'd say that's changed, especially if depending if you publish or self-publish, that
Yeah,
ultimately you're in control of it. Publishers don't want you to put out one book a year because they
yeah,
like major publishing firms because that's what they want. But if it's another way, no, it really will help in sales because the
you're
more
right.
books you have out, the more they'll buy more. And children's books are a challenging environment. Have you gotten to read in front of kids? You talked about the nonprofit, but you get to go and read in front of kids a lot.
Yeah, I go,
Schools.
yeah, and I go to schools and read to kids. I go to, events like parades and, all the characters I have costumes for some of the characters. So I take the character with me and
How cool.
it's
Yeah,
a lot of fun for the kids.
it seems like it for sure. And you're going to work on that biography. What is your favorite of the children's books? Like, what characters do you have? So the raccoon's not in every one. He's just the business raccoon. So what other characters do you have?
So one of the ones that I've put in, ever since we've had her, I have a dog that's a Bernese Mountain Dog,
Oh
and
wow.
she's the sweetest, gentle giant that I've ever met. And so she has become a recurring character in all of my books. So when I go do events with kids, I will bring, the famous Luna, the Bernese dog, with me. And they love that more than they love the costume characters because, she's so sweet and loves people and the tail's wagging. But I've made her a part of every book. She's in Business Raccoon. She's the passenger in the Mercedes, and she's on a few pages. But that's my favorite character. And Charlie the Caterpillar is one of my characters who that was my first one ever, and I will always be grateful for that one. But um, there's so many fun characters in each one.
Oh, okay. And more characters to come. Like you have other ideas.
I've got literally dozens of books written, and they just need to go to the next level of design.
So, what advice do you give people out there today are about to start their careers and they're seeing some of the challenges now with AI and how to pick that specific career and what to do? What advice would you give them?
Well, the first advice I'd give them is embrace AI. It's not going anywhere. Don't,
You bet. Yeah.
I found a lot. You see some of these graduations in college and someone mentions AI and the kids all boo.
Yeah.
because and it's I think it's a fear factor of AI, but the sooner they embrace it, the better they'll be. We've really ramped that up at my office and actually bought our first robot that comes later this year, which is very exciting.
Oh,
And
wow. So are those out yet? Is it Optimus or not?
no, it's Neo is the one I bought. It's being built in California, first
Really?
plant here in the U.S. And it's very exciting because you've got to embrace these things. They're going to occur no matter what. But if you know how to use them, you'll always have a business. You'll always have something that keeps you going. Where those that fight it, it's like the people who fought changing from cassettes to streaming.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, the one person team's coming, and that
yeah,
means the every other part of that team's going to be AI, and you're going to be the one that's expert, whatever your strong suit is. They're going to be one person teams, and really to embrace and understand and learn new things. We got to continue to learn. That's the level that, and you're right. The generation that's graduating doesn't want their very anti AI. And I
yes,
wonder how many people are anti.com because I wasn't dating myself
sure.
and really getting the opportunity to have any business opportunities in .com era. I know you did. What would you say, the difference between the .com era and let's say the AI era?
Well, I just think it's moving at such a rapid pace, more so than the dot-com era. But when I was growing up, they said, in 50 years, the world would look materially different than it did when I was a kid. And then, nowadays it's like within a year, it's going to look materially different. That's how far we've come. And I think that's the biggest thing about the AI era. It changes daily.
Right. And we were thinking about Web 3.0, and that's not even come now because of AI. It's going to
Oh,
come. It's
yes,
coming. It's coming, but it took a spot where we thought that was going to happen. Then AI came, but Web 3.0 is coming too, for sure.
it's amazing.
I
Yeah,
think it's because of crypto and everything that people are hesitant about the blockchain, but it can be done in so many different other areas and keep things safe and really democratize what's happening. So we don't have to deal with so many things. And that's the things that our own agent will go out and shop for us. That's coming. It
that's
happens
amazing.
now, but they'll come and shop for us. They'll go and find the places for us and say, this is what you have and purchase it for us. I mean, we're coming to that point in time that everyone has to go in technology and look at that. And I'm sure the Business Raccoon is very well versed in AI. Is there
I'm
going to be
pretty
a
sure.
sequel? Is there going to be a sequel for Business Raccoon?
There may be. I've written a sequel for Business Raccoon already. One of the things I've tried to avoid is that sequel thing because I always find it's never as good as the first one. If you watched any movies, the sequels, sometimes it could be really
Yeah.
good, but the original is always tough to top. So there's a book in my, list of books that I've written, that's Business Raccoon 2.0, but I don't know if I'll release it. We'll see. I'm trying to think if it can top what I've got, and I really love this book.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Best place people can purchase your book. Where can they go?
Yeah, so the biggest marketplace, Amazon.com, you can get that there, and I found there's a real desire in local bookstores everywhere, so you'll probably find a few copies there, but the best place you can go is Amazon.com.
All right. Thanks again, Andy. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Such an honor. You
You're
do an
welcome.
amazing job.
Thanks. I appreciate it. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show. And we'll